I remember the person who was addressing us. He said to us that, he said, "Dear parents, when you look at your children, you literally see angels. But what you don't know, that we spend more time with your children than you do. One is that most of their time they are in school, and two, even when they are at home, most of your time you are at work. Or maybe you could even be at school, or you're juggling school and work. So you literally don't have enough time for your children." It sounded like a joke, but it actually meant a lot later on in my life after something happened to me. And I'm sharing this experience to help a parent out there, because when this happened, I realized that I didn't know my children that much. Hi, and welcome to the world I live in, the Susan K world, where it's all about personal growth and development. Well, if you are watching this video and you are on my YouTube channel for the first time, do subscribe, hit the notification button that you will be the first to know when our new videos are uploaded. Do like, share, comment. In this world, we talk about very many interesting things, and today I would like to focus on one particular question. How well do you know your child? Well, as parents, we struggle with the one thing, trying to figure out our children. But the truth is, you can never figure out your child. One reason being that there is no school that teaches parenting. There is no degree, there is no course that you can take to know how to be a parent. So most of us have just landed into the parenting role, and we are able to learn through experience. We struggle through so many things, learn through experiences, learn from those who have taken time to do research over a number of years and try to implement what they have found out. So today I'll be doing just that, sharing my experience of parenting. And all this is because of you, my lovely people who watch my videos, who share your different opinions, or have requested me several things. And in this, the reason why I'm doing this video today is that somebody made a comment. And it's interesting, I keep on wondering, why do you come to only my messenger? I would like to see you put these comments in the comment section down below. So go to the world I live in, and as you watch the video, do leave your comment down below so that you can help others and others can help you. So this particular person said something like this to me, that I seem to be getting the parenting thing, and everything seems to be well with me. Well, as I said, parenting is a journey, and we are all learning on the job. There are those who are very lucky. They have been mentored in this thing. They have grown in it. But there are many of us who have just fallen, like literally fallen into it without any guidance, without any leadership, but you just do it as it comes to you naturally. Others say it comes to you naturally, but I think there is nothing natural about it. Yes, getting pregnant and giving birth, that is the one aspect, but the actual parenting starts when this child comes to live in this world. So I remember one time I had gone for a PTA meeting to one of my children's schools, my eldest child's PTA meeting. That is about 5 years ago. And in that PTA meeting, I remember the person who was addressing us. He said to us "Dear parents, when you look at your children, you literally see angels. But what you don't know, that we spend more time with your children than you do. One is that most of their time they are in school, and two, even when they are at home, most of your time you are at work. Or Maybe you could even be at school, or you're juggling school and work. So you literally don't have enough time for your children. It sounded like a joke, but it actually meant a lot later on in my life after something happened to me. And I'm sharing this experience to help a parent out there, because when this happened, I realized that I didn't know my children that much. So about 3 years ago, I remember getting home. It was late, I was tired, but there is an assignment I had not concluded, and it was for the next day. I remember asking my son to help me with his laptop. And when I did my assignment, mothers like snooping around. So after doing my assignment, I clicked something. It was a video. And in that video was my son with his friend. And I remember clicking on that video and watching the video over and over again. Because now that statement that I had been told years ago came back to me. How well do you know your child? Most cases, parents think, believe they know their children. Well, it wasn't something that was life-threatening, but it certainly was something that I didn't expect my child to be into. And when I saw that, it's in that moment, I remember it was around midnight or coming towards midnight when I saw this video. I sat at my dining table, I think until 3 a.m. And I had so many questions going on in my mind. And one of the things that I kept on asking myself was telling myself that I thought I was doing well. I have done enough. I know many parents out there may be in such a situation, may have gone through such a similar situation, and you have asked yourself several questions. What have I not done? What am I not doing well enough? Well, that's a phase that I had to go through for some time. But in that moment, I took a deliberate decision. And this decision was, one, I was not going to confront him, because I realized I did not know him. So confrontation was not the best solution. And around the same time, I remember having another situation with my younger daughter. And for her outburst was like, "Mommy, you don't love me." So it seemed like so many things were happening in a short period of time. And here I was, my friends at least think I am a good mom, I'm doing everything right. But here were my children, whom I actually didn't know. When my daughter said, "Mommy, you don't love me," I was like, "Whom are you kidding? I would go to the moon for you." I know that's how most parents think about their children, and that's how you actually feel about your children. But what I realized was that there was a missing link. That missing link was the connection, that intimate connection. What our children desire is to be seen, to be heard, and to be felt. Now, in most cases, what we are good at as parents, we do love. We actually do love our children. We do love our children. We provide instead of connecting with our children. When our children walk in most cases, there will be questions that, "How can I help you? What do you want?" Those are questions we'll ask our children. At least those are questions that I have asked my children several times. Why? Because you've carried work home. Sometimes you're trying to beat a deadline, you're trying to do something, or you have what you call your own personal time. But remember, at the same time, you are not spending enough time with your children. So when you are around, they want to be around you for different reasons. They want that connection. They are actually looking for that connection. So I took a deliberate decision to build bridges with my children and not walls. Because when the incident happened with my daughter, I remember going in my room. I've shared this before in one of my videos on parenting. I remember going back in my room and saying, Lord, I want to be that parent to whom my child will think about when they are in trouble. Let it be a sad moment, let it be a joyous moment. I should be that person that my child can rely on, can call. I should be on his or her first dial numbers. You should be that person. And I realized that in order for me to achieve that, I had to do something. Now, by the time I see this video, my son is at a point where he's supposed to be joining university. I took another decision to help myself build the bridges and not the walls by telling my son that, you know what we're going to do? I made it very comfortable. He was supposed to be traveling out of the country for his university. And I told him that, you know what? You are going to leave us. You're going to be away for about 4 years. And you never know, you may take long to come back. I want you to stay around so that let's get you a gap year. Stay around for 1 year. But the reason I was doing that is where I started from. I wanted to create a connection. I realized I did not know my child. So I wanted to use this 1 year to get to know my son, to get to know my children, and to build memories, not build walls. So I intentionally started doing certain things. You know, when our children come to us, we look at them as children. We don't know that actually there are so many things we can learn from our children. I used to be the kind of mom, if my child asked me for something, if my child asked me for something, there was a possibility that I would ask them several questions. Most parents do that, especially if the child asks you for money or they want to go to a friend's house. You are always asking questions. Of course, at a certain point, it's to protect our children, but our children need some form of independence. So I took a deliberate decision to do certain things, put certain things in place. And where I came from, I said to myself, I'm going to make my children hard. I'm going to make them seen. I'm going to make them felt. And one, I started allowing my children to make certain decisions. Most cases as parents, everything, whether it's food, whether it's clothing, we decide for our children. Our children need some form of independence. They should be able to take certain decisions. I was the kind of mom who literally bought my children everything, even without asking them. It's like I had this image of what they should wear, what they should look like. I realized that was suffocating. So I decided with my eldest son, I actually give him money and let him go and buy what he likes. I realized when I let him do that, his fashion sense changed. I was more into suits, into ties, but here was somebody who loves being so casual. And he looks so good in it. So he is now comfortable in what he wears because that's what he likes. And besides, he's not indecent. But I simply wanted this look for my son because this is the image that I had in me of my son. But he has his own image. He has something that he wants to portray in the world. There's something that he feels about himself. So I allowed him to buy his own clothes, and he does that. When it comes to my girls, I no longer buy clothes for them without them being present. I will go with them to the shop, to the mall, wherever it is, and they will pick out what they want to wear. However, especially for the young children, you guide them through. There are things that they will ask for because they saw it on TV, they saw Barbie wearing it, they saw whatever character that they love wearing it, and they will want it. So of course, as a parent, you have to guide them. But what has this helped? How has this helped me? My children can now freely express themselves. My son would hardly share anything with me. So what I did in the different things that I started doing, he became my trainer. We started doing exercises together, and it is so amazing. It's so amazing what that does. He started sharing with me, opening up to me, talking to me about so many different things, and freely, knowing that mom will not judge me. These are things he could have shared with somebody else, somebody who may not have guided him the way I have. And sometimes you realize that you put so much pressure. We put so much pressure and too many demands on our children that they can't express themselves. Our children are always acting up before us. A friend told me a story the other day that he cannot tell his mom. He cannot tell his mom anything. And I was like, why? He said, anything you tell my mom, it's a no. It's like she lives in a certain sphere where life has never changed for her. Life is like this, and it has to remain like this. So I don't share anything with my mom. And it was a very simple thing. But he felt he just couldn't share with his mom. So in most cases, as parents, we build walls. When our children are before us, they will act up. And in that acting up, we think that they are okay. I have realized that if we don't build that connection with our children are going to look for that connection in other things. Either, right now, look at how social media is. They will look for validation on social media. They are going to do so many things such that the world validates them. So how do you change that for your children, such that you raise children who are connected? The world is becoming darker. It's becoming lonelier. So a child has to get that connection from the beginning, from their parent, such that they know who they are. They can stand in their own identity, and they are not easily swayed by what the world projects to them. They can be able to take decisions that will actually build them. Another point came where my son, the friend that I saw my son with in the video, he kept on coming home. And of course, in my mind, I had seen this video and I didn't like it. So I remember during the lockdown, his friend coming home, and he wanted to go out with a friend. And he comes to me and says, of course, Mom, we've been indoors for a long time. I want to go out with my friends. Of course, they were going to meet their other friends. But in my heart, it was one of the hardest decisions I made, but I had to do it. One, I wanted my son to know that I trusted him. But somehow in my spirit, I knew that something was going to happen. And I remember that evening when he came back, he was in a different state. He had drunk, and he was somebody else. But that again was the turning point of his life, because the next day he woke up, he slept for about 20 hours. The next day in the evening when he woke up, all he could do was sob. He could not believe what had happened because he could not even remember what had happened. So he asked the questions that I would have naturally asked as a mom. And all I did was sit down with him. And he kept on holding my hand. And he kept on saying, Mom, I am sorry. And he said, from this day forward, now this was coming from him. Remember, I trusted him. I gave him the money to go out and meet his friends. My heart was not settled when I was doing it, but somehow I did it. Because I had been praying for him. So I knew that his life was in God's hands. And thankfully, that was a situation that turned his life around. From the day he had that episode, that friend is no longer his friend. He deleted him from his phone. He has not spoken to him, and he has not done what he used to do. He has become more responsible. He realized how embarrassing, how ashaming, how humiliating what he was doing was to him. But I changed it by listening, by watching, and by praying. I stopped nagging. You know, moms are so nagging. Children look at us as nags. We are nagging them all the time. You've heard those statements where children say, when they're talking to their friends, you know, my mom nags me a lot. I don't want to talk to my mom. My children got tired of staying home. I believe most parents went through this. Children staying home day in, day out, doing literally nothing than eating, watching TV, and playing in the same environment became so hectic for them. So I remember my children saying, Mom, we want to go and see grandma. Now, the protective mom that I am, I couldn't imagine my children away from me. But I had this in my mind. I had decided to do certain things, and one of those was give my children some bit of independence. I was a clingy mom. I've been a clingy mom most of my time. So here I call my mom, and I tell her, I am sending you my children. My children were over the moon. It's never easy for a parent to let go of their children. I remember the first night they didn't stay home. I had very weird dreams. I felt like my bed was rotating. I felt like I had been attacked. I felt so many things, but it was simply because I was so scared. I stayed in my house alone. But again, it's something that is so powerful. I have learned to slowly let my children go, give them some bit of independence in small doses, but it's working. I now have a relationship with all my children, an intimate relationship, a connection with all my children. My eldest girl has this thing that she's very creative. Those are things that she would never do before because mom looked at her in a certain way. But from the time I let her free to be able to do what she is good at so that she can blossom in what she is good at, she has done so many interesting things. Actually, she chose the name for my YouTube channel, The World I Live In. That was my daughter's doing. She's a very creative person. She creates so many beautiful things. She loves fashion. I saw her as somebody who had to concentrate on her studies. Yes, studies are good, but there are many other things that your child is good at that you're not allowing them blossom into. My son has amazed me on several occasions. Parents, take time to be part of the activities that your children do. When my son was giving his final speech at his graduation in high school, I remember sobbing amidst parents. He said very powerful words about his mom. And there he was on stage. I was like, is this my son? This is wonderful. There was a side to him that I had never witnessed. Here he was as the MC for the graduation. And here were powerful words. You know that moment when every parent turns around to see who is this parent that the child is admonishing with such beautiful, wonderful words. I realized the gift that God has given me. God has given us those children. They carry very beautiful gifts. But we have failed to see those gifts because we are not connecting. When you connect with your child, you're going to know so many things about your child. Our children look for validation from us. Let us praise them when they do great things, even when they fail. Let us help them to get out of that sunken place and not tell them, I told you so. Show them that they can do better. Show them that they can grow, that actually you believe in them, you trust them. You know that they are great people. I introduced something in my house where my children have journals. They have journals where they write about their different experiences. And as I said, you choose to build bridges, not walls. I introduced journals for my children where they either write in the morning or they write at night, even during the day when they choose to write, but they keep their journals at their bedside. And it's amazing when you read their journals. and get to see what goes on. We should, as parents, introduce our faith to our children. We believe in so many things, we have so many value systems, but we need to introduce our children to those things that we believe in. Your spiritual positioning has a lot to do with how your children turn out. Our children need spiritual guidance. They need spiritual guidance. Take time to pray for your children. There's so much that we can say and do as parents, but prayer is the most powerful tool that you can use. Prayer, I say again, is the most powerful. The Bible says that faith can move mountains, but prayer does move mountains as well. Pray for your children. Their circumstances can change. My relationship with my children has changed. It continues to change. Hug your children whenever you can. I came to realize that my son, when he wants to talk, when you're busy, especially when I'm in my room, he will walk in and he will pace around and you will know what he wants. So it's up to me. I have now learned that. Before, I never used to see that, because when he would walk in, I would ask him, what do you want? Then he will say, Mom, it's all right. I just came to see you and say hello. So he would say hello, welcome back, Mom, and he would walk out. So now when he comes in, I have sensed that he wants to talk. Sometimes, in as much as he wants to say hello, I will show him that I am not busy. I am not so tired for you. We will talk about my work, how my day has been. He will share about his day, how it has been. And we will talk about different things, to the extent that when he feels like, oh, Mom, I think I have said hello to you. We've talked enough. Let me go and do this. So we do catch up. Previously, that's not how it was. It was, what do you need? And as parents, as I said, we think every time our children, either they need money from us, they need to go here, so they're asking for our permission. But what your child needs is a connection. So give them that connection that they need. Then my second daughter, I remember for her, she still does that. We are still on a journey for that. When she comes to you, sometimes she is very sensitive. So she comes around you, she will look at you, and for her, you just have to sense it. When she looks at you, you have to be the first to say something. Or if she comes and she says, hi, Mom, and you're like, hi, Sab. So you have to continue the conversation. She's like, oh, either she will come and sit with you on your bed or sit on the carpet, and you will talk. It may be for a minute or 2 or 3, but you show her that I have time for you. Most probably you'll put your phone down or close the book or close the iPad or whatever you're holding to give her time. But otherwise she would walk in and look at you, say, hi, Mom, say, hi, Sab. Say, oh, Mom, never mind. I'll talk to you later. I don't accept the never mind anymore. I say, no, it's all right. Come, let's talk. Of course, with my youngest child, for her, she's so different. She will constantly remind me, Mom, get off your phone, because that's a tradition that we have. I decided that my weekends, if I am not engaged, my weekends, I have to have meals with my children. You need to have a meal with your children. I know how busy we all are, because from Monday to Friday, you're probably working. Some people work from Monday to Saturday. So all you have is Sunday. Make sure there is a day you have a meal with your children. When we have meals in my house together on our dining table, sometimes we have lunch for 2 hours. We are not only eating, but we are conversing. And we have a rule where phones must be off. There are times when I have got something very urgent and I request for permission from my children to handle it. But otherwise, phones are supposed to be off the table. Why? It makes the people whom you are sharing this meal with know that you are wholly available. You are entirely available. So I will ask you again, how well do you know your child? Are you sure you really know your child? Take off time, hug your children, spend time with them. Quality time with your children is not about you, it's about them. Find out what they want to do in that quality time And I can guarantee you that your relationship with your children will grow and it will blossom. There is no book written. There is no degree in parenting. It will be by experience, by relating with other parents, and you will get it. Thank you for watching this video. Continue subscribing, continue liking, continue commenting. See you in my next video. Bye-bye.